Hi everyone, I am Tetsuya. Thank you for watching my video again today. In my channel, I am usually sharing my Japanese insight towards Singapore, especially focusing on something impressive about Singapore. But today, I interviewed some of my non-Japanese friends who lived in Singapore for some time. I interviewed them about what is impressive about Singapore from my non-Japanese friends' viewpoint. And quite interestingly, as I expected, most of my non-Japanese friends answered the safety. The safety of Singapore is impressive. Even though when it comes to the safety, my friends from many different countries say how they are respecting the safety of Singapore from many different viewpoints. So it will be very interesting to listen to what they say about the safety of Singapore from many different countries' viewpoints. So please enjoy.
So when it comes to safety, when it comes to cleanliness, when it comes to public transport, I think it's on top there, no doubt about it.
And also about also about the safety. So during my uni days, right, it's quite often that for me to get hungry around like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And it is like really normal for me to just get out from my dorm and then have a supper like outside. So I walk like 500 meters, get a supper and go back to my dorm. Well, I think in the majority of the country, I'm gonna get robbed. But in Singapore, there is no such thing. So yeah, those two things are like the most standing out things in my mind.
For now, the main thing would be safety, right? I mean, like you can you can walk like in the middle of the night and you'll be safe in Singapore, basically. It's probably the same for Japan as well, I guess. But then again, I mean, because I have a child, so I think safety is like my main priority. And it seems like the enforcement of law here is pretty good as well. So that's why we decided like Singapore is probably a safe place to raise a child.
In terms of safety, I would say both cities are safe. Because if you want to compare Singapore as a country to China, like China is so wide. They have tier 1 city, tier 2 city, tier 3 city. I would say my hometown country, China, they are getting better and better now in terms of safety. So I would say both actually give me the security feeling. Like compared to the United States, where I stay, I need to stay a lot and when I go outside alone. But in nowadays in Shanghai or Beijing, as a lady, you hang out late at night, at midnight, and you went back home, you still feel okay, feel kind of safe. And Singapore, yes, I would say compared to safety, Singapore slightly better, but China, big city, actually catching up now.
So let's see, safety. Safety is very important. So Singapore has an incredibly low crime rate, which I think is very important when you're looking for a place where you want to settle down. When you're trying to raise a family, when you have children. So that's very important.
I would say that what I like the most about Singapore is actually it's very safe.
You said Singapore is safe, and I also understand Singapore is pretty safe.
Yes.
Actually, in my personal opinion, even safer than Japan, basically, when it comes to crime rate. But when I visit Malaysia, I also feel pretty safe. Do you really think Singapore is safer than Malaysia?
You don't really see a lot of issues in Singapore. I mean, if you read the newspaper, you won't see many crime. Maybe there are crime, but it's like I would consider it not a very serious crime. But maybe in Malaysia, once in a while, you will hear something. So that's, I think, is the level of the safetiness in Singapore. And when you go to any other country to travel, normally people will say to you that try to avoid certain places. Try not to walk at night alone, especially on the alley of back lane of anything. Maybe have friends when you walk. Eventually in Singapore, nobody say that don't walk alone at night. Avoid certain places at night. Maybe there are, I mean, those industrial area, But as a tourist or as a people who actually live here like a normal life, you don't actually go to certain places like that. And I would say it's actually very safe.
Yeah, another good question. Two things again in particular stood out. One was the safety. I always felt so safe in Singapore. I never felt like I was in danger, right? And I feel comfortable in America as well, but you can go to some bad areas where you have to be careful. In Singapore, I felt safe wherever I went, regardless of the time of day or the time of night.
I see. Thank you so much. Among the things you mentioned the safety in Singapore. When it comes to safety, I think one of your impressive experience you had in Singapore would be jogging around midnight, possibly. Can you do that in your country or in your place?
Exactly. Exactly. I think this goes into your next question, but I used to go, you remember I used to work out at midnight
Yeah.
and I would run to Holland Village every night. And I never felt like I was unsafe. And you have to be careful in certain places of America to do that.
Right. Well, I also, while I was living in Singapore together with you, I once missed the last MRT in the northern part of Singapore. Then at that time, I needed to make a decision if I wait for the morning to take a bus or MRT. Because at that time, I didn't have any cash, quite unfortunately. And my mobile phone battery also died. So I even couldn't use my Google Map.
Oh my gosh.
So it's about 15 kilometers, about 10 miles away from where we lived. So
Oh my gosh.
at that time, I was really worried, but I made a decision to just randomly, but certainly toward southwest direction from where I was, because it was around. Do you know Woodland? It's a northern part of Singapore.
Okay.
Woodland. It's near the border to Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Yeah, from there, I think I was 3 miles away to south, and from there, I needed to go back to where we lived. So that
Kent
is about
Village.
10 miles. Yeah, 10 miles.
Yeah.
So anyway, I made a decision to run back to our residence, Kentville. And yeah, but the reason why I could make such kind of decisions is because I knew Singapore was extremely safe, and I cannot say never, but I will almost never face any danger while running
Yes.
on the street or road. So
It's so true. So true.
yeah. After I think it happened because it was around around midnight, and when I arrived at our residence, it was already 2 p.m. Sorry, no, 2 a.m. 2 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
So I ran 2 hours for 10 miles, 15 kilometers. But yeah, of course, on the day, I didn't feel any danger. Yeah.
Right.
So
That's pretty fast. You ran pretty fast.
really, 15 kilometers?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 miles actually. It's
Yeah, that's fast. I couldn't do that.
I didn't run. I kept running actually. I walked and ran, and yeah. So yeah, because it was quite a long distance, I was pretty sure. So well, anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was totally safe. Totally safe as
Yeah.
you
Totally safe.
totally safe. So that was something really really impressive in Singapore.
Yes.
Actually, talking about the safety, the safety of Singapore is at the same level as in Japan. So in Japan, we can also walk around anywhere in 24 hours. It's completely safe. I mean, I cannot say completely safe, but most of the time, no problem.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I expect the safety of Singapore to be at the same level as in Japan. So it was
Right.
pretty impressive, pretty impressive.
Yes.
Yeah. So, how was my interview video? Even though you are Singaporean, once you have seen this video, you'd again might have respect the safety, appreciate the safety of Singapore. Singapore is a very, very safe country, even compared to Japan. When it comes to the crime rate, murder rate of Singapore, it's usually lower than Japan. That is pretty impressive. I also really love the safety of Singapore. Whenever I go to Singapore, I always enjoy the safety because I don't have to care the bad place, dangerous place or something. I can just freely go anywhere at any time of the day, 24 hours. Of course, I shouldn't do something stupid anywhere in the world, but still Singapore is pretty safe and I really trust the safety of Singapore. At the last part of my video, I shared funny conversation with my American friend. But to that degree, from my actual experience, from my American friend's experience, Singapore is very safe. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope you stay in my channel again and watch more videos. Bye bye.